what I wanted to talk about and is about the SARS, or not SARS, is about uh, what's going on around us with this is a cold and flu season, and I see a lot of it in the ER. I also still hear some people are panicked about the coronavirus or the nouveau virus, or it has a name now. The I think it's called COVID-19. Um, that's the coronavirus, and I think not very many people know that I was actually the team leader for SARS back in 2003, and it was very eerie when everyone's leaving town. So I knew exactly what was going on in China because I was there, and we're getting all the phone calls from friends saying, "You got to leave. People are dying. You got to get out of there." And all this panic, and but we were living life. It wasn't that bad. And then I was called up to head the team and start the setup for the SARS team. So I was flying into Beijing, and there was nobody there. This is a very populated, very large city with millions of people, and I'm the only one walking down the street. I could hear the birds chirping. It was just surreal, having the entire Beijing to myself. And so I can imagine that is what's going on in Wuhan. And actually, somebody had read in the article, they were talking about how they could hear the birds chirping and seeing the dogs run around. And then someone asked me, how did I not get infected with the SARS? And the thing is that you use PEP, so you have these personal protective clothing, and that's what I do a lot of times in the ER too. Is I wear an N95 mask, I glove, because I wash my hands so much. When you wash your hands, they get dry and cracked. So I end up using the gloves, so I don't have to wash as frequently. But so I protect my hands that way. And the other thing is just checking the sound. For protection, you just want to have a good immune system. So I'm always, people are concerned about, are you going to catch it? And I try to be healthy, right? So you try to sleep well, make sure your gut is healthy, because if your gut's not healthy, it causes inflammation, it can cause brain problems. But the main thing is that that's the center of your immune system. When my boys were little, and I still do this, but the nannies I would be checking, they would tell me, oh, they cooed or they did something cute. And I'm like, no, I want to know, how was their poops today? How often, what color, what were they like? Because that's how I could monitor the health. So having a good, healthy gut is vital. So you want to be proactive and having a good immune system. Concern about what all these diseases that are coming out, these new viruses, is that it's a zoonotic disease. I don't know if you're aware, but these zoonosis, these zoonotic diseases, we have a budget in CDC that will look after these new types of viruses that are coming on. And right now they're going to get budget cuts of another $102 million, which is, I think, not the wisest thing with the CDC. So I would like to give some profits back and try to support the CDC, because they're getting major budget cuts and going to have a hard time to defend our country and protect us all from all of these illnesses. And where these comes from is basically zoonotic diseases, is that they're coming from animals that are transferring to humans. Normally, like your normal pets and things like that, you're not going to transfer. But what's happening is these unusual conditions in these wet markets, is there's a propensity for wanting to eat wild animals, and they eat them and they want them live. So they keep them in these unhygiene conditions. They also have seafood in that area, so there's water. You have porcupines, you have mongooses, you have all these different animals stacked on top of one another, and they're defecating and mixing and mingling, and they're passing these viruses, and then humans eat these animals, and then they get these new viruses. So this is how this happens, these zoonotic diseases, and we just need to keep on top of this. One of the budget cuts, that's one of the concerns for me. The other thing is that I was going to share with you is that what I do in terms of trying to stay healthy is just, as I said, sleep well, eat well, make sure you get your greens, your micronutrients, test. I always like to test to know where, if I have any micronutrients deficiency in my diet, what I should be eating, to make sure that I, have enough B vitamins, things like that. On hand, I usually will have some herbs. So I like the biocidin. Typically, I'll have biocidin. I'll start giving that to the boys if I feel like that they're just under the weather, haven't slept or been exposed, or they're feeling something. Or another protocol that I actually use, which you can access, if you go to what's called Whole Scripts, and you use the code for right now. I think the code is my name, AH. I'm going to update that soon, but for right now, that is the code, unless someone gave me a new code that I didn't double check. But I'm going to check here. Anyway, so if you go on, and I recommend vitamin D. Taking vitamin D, 5,000 units, is a maintenance before you get sick. This is just for preventative. Immunotix, taking that, and probiotics. That also, just all of that, if you're prone or you're working with people who are ill, or just just something that you can do just to protect yourselves. The other thing is that once you do become ill, there's a protocol that I like to make sure you have vitamin D, vitamin A, that you have the Immunotix, and you have Viagra, which is herbal supplements. Herbs have been known to combat and be bactericidal, and can be virucidal, meaning killing those things. So those are little tools that you can have in your armament. I just always keep them on hand if I start to feel a little under the weather. And actually, I was exposed to the H flu. And the best thing is always, you want to stay home if you're sick. Don't spread it. Wear a mask if you're sick. We don't do that in this culture. But if you are sick, other cultures will wear a mask, so that they know and you stay away. If you cough or sneeze, that can spread over, 6 feet, 3 feet. So it's usually droplets. I think coronavirus is going to end up being droplet driven right now. It's being transmitted, passing back and forth between humans. What I was going to tell you is about the case fatality rate. So, and people are always concerned about how ill they should, or how worried they should be. But if you think about it, the flu virus, and not many people are afraid of that, but we have tens of thousands of people who actually die from the flu virus, and nobody's really scared about it, and they don't mind catching the flu. We get hundreds of thousands of people who get the flu. I think right now, I don't know, that we have over 1,100. So we've got the same amount of coronavirus deaths as we do flus right now. But you get 100,000 of people who contracted, over the hundreds of thousands, and tens of thousands of people die. So that case fatality rate is 0.1%. And in SARS, I think it was close to around 8,000 people, and close to around 800 people who died. And the case fatality rate was 10%. So if you contracted SARS, you had a 10% chance of dying from that. The case fatality rate for this new COVID-19 coronavirus is actually gone down. Initially, they thought it was 3%, but it's gone down to about 2.1%. So it's much higher than the flu, but not as severe as the coronavirus. So the main thing is, you want to stay away, stay protected, and since there is no vaccine for it, and there's no, the only way is to protect yourself. And if your immune system is strong, you can most likely fight it off. And you're going to get people who just get minor symptoms, and then a sore throat. You're going to have fevers, a little achiness. But people whose immune systems are compromised, they have already illnesses, or they have comorbidities, like you have heart disease, you have diabetes, you have other inflammatory autoimmune problems, and your immune systems are compromised, or you're elderly and your nutritional factors are down, or you're young and you haven't developed the full immunity yet. All these people are called immune compromised, so they're not having the full immunity. And then if you're just run down, not taking care of yourself, you're going to be also more susceptible.